Illustrator, and under recent, your practice book should show up. Unit 1 practice book. Is anyone not getting that? Super, we love the Creative Cloud, yay. Open that bad boy up. We're going to do a little vector versus raster work here. Go on the interwebs and find a photograph of something, anything that you like. My favorite animal is an orca, so I'm going to look up orca. Oh, you can open it. And drag your photograph into Illustrator. I'm going to put on a timer for 2 minutes for you to find a picture that you like.
How do we open our workbook?
Oh, just click on it. That's fine. But it's not opening for you? Try unplugging your mouse and see if it use this too. Oh. Why is it like oh, maybe click open? Does it open something? I don't know.
I tried open.
Go to Creative Cloud. I don't know what happened there. Just make a new one and just do a little scribbly. If that happens again today, then we're going to be concerned because we want you to be able to save your work. But since that first one wasn't. Salish. All right, does everybody have a picture? Okay. So when you pull your photograph in, there's a couple things we're going to notice. Grab your selection tool if it's not already selected. So that's our little arrow in the top left corner, or you can press V and click on the picture. You'll notice that there's little boxes on the corners of the image. So if you click in the middle of the image, you can move it around. If you click on the corner, or if you move to the corner, you'll see that there's like a little arrow that, or double-sided arrow that shows up. If you click and drag with that, it's going to resize it, but it's going to resize it all wonky. Command Z will undo. If you hold Shift while you resize, it will maintain proportion. Yay! If you pull your arrow out a little further from the double-sided arrow, you'll see that there's like a little curvy arrow. And there, you can rotate your image if you want. This is all true of anything when you select it. So there's arrows, those arrows will appear. You can resize, you can rotate. Anything that you can select, you can do this with. So if you zoom in Now, you should be able to do that by moving your, like, doing your fingers. If you're not able to, with your fingers, the magnifying glass is down at the bottom right. You can just click on it to plus, or you can click and drag. Oh, I guess you can't do that anymore. But you can get closer. So as we get real close to my orca, and as you get real close to whatever you're looking at, you'll see that there's pixels. So tons of little squares. And so where it looks relatively gray on my orca, I can see now that as we get closer, the pixels, some of the pixels are actually red, some of them are green. And the closer we get, obviously, the more abstract, like who even knows what this is. To zoom out, if you're with the magnifying glass, you can hold Option, and you'll see that the magnifying glass becomes a minus, and you can zoom back out. So this is a raster image. This is likely a JPEG, although it might be a PNG or a GIF. But there's a lot of detail in here. So like that kid with the goggles, there's a lot of detail. That is the benefit of raster images. You can get a lot of detail. That is what you want your photographs to be. You want your photographs to be JPEGs. You don't want your photographs to be PDFs. However, if I made this orca the size of a billboard, it would be almost unrecognizable. To copy and paste, so we're going to make a copy of this image. You can either Command C, Command V, like regular, or you can click and drag and hold Option. And that will allow you to make a copy. I'm a little afraid. Make at least 2 extra copies. You might want to make more because this is really fun what we're going to do. I probably shouldn't be teaching you this first because now this is all you're going to want to do. But we're going to do it anyway because whatever. So click on one of your copies and go up to Image Trace. This is at the top of the menu, top of the window. And you can click the drop-down menu and choose anything. Choose what you want. High fidelity photo would be like the most information. Low fidelity would be less information. 3 colors, 6 colors. Choose whatever you want. It might take a minute, depending on what you choose. Woo. And if you want to try a couple different ones, you can make copies and try with other things. I usually like the 6 color. Oh, did I do 6 color already? It actually looks pretty good. And then when you zoom in, you will see we don't have pixels at all. Well, we have our smooth curves. It's still going to look pretty abstract when you zoom in, because what the computer just did is it translated that image, that raster image, the pixels, into vector shapes. Vectors are created from mathematical equations. And so the edges are going to be smooth. Real smooth. Whoa, loving that. If you select one of your translations, so one of the ones that became a vector, and go to Object, Ungroup. So Object is a menu up at the top, Ungroup. And then hit Expand. You will see all of the many, many, many shapes that the computer made. Oops. You may have to ungroup again, but then you can select each of them individually. You can get rid of them. You can click on the fill and change the color. Everything is infinitely editable now. I can have a purple orca, what the hell? Go for it. So all of this information over here about light and the three-dimensionality of all this whole stuff has basically been flattened. So you lose the realism when you convert to raster, when you convert to vector. But you gain a lot of editability and infinite scalability. So I can make this purple orca as big as the whole wide world. Well, I don't know how you would do that, but. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to just play around, and then we're going to do something different.